Ay, ay, ay. Tengo que poner un poco de música. Un poco de música. ¿Qué tal, Ángel? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo te fue en el Sulamán? Sí me fue bastante bien, pero, o sea, todo fue perfecto, excepto el loot. No salió nada. O nada bueno, al menos. Creo que la música está muy sad. Voy a ver si la puedo cambiar. Voy a ver si la puedo cambiar. Está muy, 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 muy sad. Ya, un poquito mejor. ¿Qué serán las noticias? Estoy bastante intrigado. Estoy bastante intrigado con las noticias. A ver, voy a poner... Aquí está, en el canal de World of Warcraft. Se estrenará en 20 minutos. Tenemos 20 minutos. Lo voy a poner para ya tenerlo listo. Cualquier cosa, lo tenemos ahí. Ya está. Mira, yo creo que van a mostrar la expansión de la 10.0, pero también creo que van a hablar de LK. Estoy segurísimo. Segurísimo, segurísimo. Oh, la canción es muy triste, es muy sad. ¿Crees que las guilds más OP clainen Sangwell el primer día? Ángel, hay muchas cosas interesantes que creo que vamos a aprovechar ahora mismo para revisarlas acerca de Sangwell. He estado revisando, he estado viendo y hay información nueva. Dame un toque, voy a poner el WoW-Head. Hay información nueva y muy interesante acerca de Sangwell. Vamos a las noticias. Aquí está. Ya. Lo voy a poner así y ya estamos. Ya. Oye, esta música en lugar de relajarme me pone triste. Así que vamos a... Ya no la voy a escuchar ya. A ver. Señor Enano, ¿por qué tan elegante? Tengo que enviarte para que te hagas un terno y te lo pongas. Sí tengo un terno ahí, o sea, pero no lo quiero usar. Ya, vamos a ver las cositas que se han desbloqueado o que se han filtrado en Sunwell. Hay muchas cosas grosas que se han filtrado. Y ya está bastante épico. Los encuentros pre-nerf en Sunwell. Las observaciones hechas del TBC PTR, del Burning Crusade PTR. A ver, un toque, tengo que ver cuánto queda para calcular. Dice que queda en 17 minutos, o sea, 40 y 10 y 49, 10 y 50 prácticamente. Voy a hacerlo así mejor. Un toque, voy a hacerlo así. Ya está, perfecto. Ángel, nuestro Z fue el mejor que hemos hecho. Salido rápido sin whippes, todo clean. Sabes, ya me despedí de mi guild. Bájale un toque a la música. Ok. Pero ¿por qué te despedí de tu guild si gracias a tu guild era que tenías cosas? O sea, de ahí en... ¿dónde vas a conseguir más cosas? Ok. Ya está. Miren chicos, estas son las nuevas cositas que se han filtrado. Voy a hacer un video sobre esto tranquilamente. Pero esta es la última información. Esto lo estoy haciendo antes del directo, donde se va a revelar la nueva expansión y nueva información de Blizzard. Así que vamos a estar aquí viéndolo, pero todavía quedan como 15 minutos. O sí, más o menos. Entonces, mientras tanto les voy a mostrar esto. Ok, ha habido un pre-nerf en Sunwell. Bueno, un pre-nerf, ¿qué estoy diciendo? Estos son los encuentros pre-nerf, quiere decir que son los encuentros de progress. Y esto se ha dado en el PTR. El PTR, para gente que no sepa, son los servidores de prueba. Servidores de prueba de Blizzard, donde te pone la raid antes de que salga oficialmente. Entonces la gente puede ir, equiparse con lo bis y ir a darle. Ay, que me muero. Entonces literalmente puedes ir con tu personaje full y no haber excusas de faltó gileo, faltó DPS, faltó tanque. No, simplemente es para ver las mecánicas. Y también es una forma de feedback para el propio Blizzard, para ver qué cosas de repente por ahí han salido un poco mal, están un poco bugueadas. Y también para los propios jugadores, para ir practicando y entrenando todas las mecánicas. Es un win-win, o sea, doble win. Ok. El PTR de Sunwell ya terminó. O sea, solo duró muy poquito y yo al inicio no entendía por qué. O sea, los PTRs duran varias semanas porque la gente tiene que tumbar todo primero. Bueno, no es que tengan que tumbar todo, ¿no? Pero sí te dan al menos un tiempo de 2 semanas, tal vez un poco más, 3 semanas, hasta un mes, ¿no? Entre 3 semanas a un mes más o menos. Pero esto ha sido muy rápido, ha terminado muy rápido. Y la pregunta es ¿por qué? Y dice que los jugadores rápidamente han recopilado información de la raid y ya han, digamos... todas las confusiones que se tenían antes de esto ya han sido limpiadas, o sea, ya han sido resueltas las diferentes confusiones. Dice, y se han cubierto ciertos topics, o sea, ciertos temas bastante calientes, bastante interesantes por la comunidad. Se ha recogido toda la información por la comunidad, ¿ok? Nos dice, la isla de Keldanas va a estar desbloqueado todo el tiempo. Okay, ni bien comencemos con el último parche ya va a estar desbloqueado. Una de los aspectos más olvidados acerca de la isla de Keldanas es que va a estar desbloqueado todo el tiempo. Y que esté desbloqueado, ¿qué significa? Que podremos hacer las misiones diarias, creo yo. Ajá, justo aquí está. Podremos completar las diarias y ganar reputación desde el primer día, así que está bastante bien. Y también aquí venden cositas que son con chapas, bueno, con las Badge of Justice, con los emblemas de justicia venden cositas, y también venden cositas con reputación. Entonces vamos a poder ganar reputación desde el inicio para poder tener un poco más de gear, estar un poquito más armado. Trabajó hasta las... Ah, ya entiendo. ¿Qué tal, Mark? ¿Cómo estás? Entiendo, Máximo. Bueno, sigamos. La cuestión es que dice que va a haber un attunement para la isla, ¿ya? Que va a desbloquear nuevos hubs, quiere decir nuevos personajes que te van a vender, o sea, nuevas zonas, mejor dicho, donde van a estar estos personajes que te van a vender. Ok, hay un attunement, o sea, para los que no saben, los attunements son una serie de... que me muero, una serie de misiones que tenemos que cumplir antes de ingresar, que en este caso sería la isla de Keldanas. La razón... hay que tener mucho cuidado con esto, es decir, no todos los vendedores estarán disponibles el día de la fase 5, ¿ok? Algunos sí, otros no. Tiene mucho sentido, no todos los vendedores van a estar disponibles, pero sí unos cuantos, ¿ok? Hay que tener mucho cuidado con eso. Y nos dice que... la isla se va a desbloquear en 4 fases, quiere decir que... Me imagino que se van a referir a vendedores o de repente también hasta misiones o incluso la mazmorra o la banda dentro de... la cosa es que todo lo que tenga que ver con la isla se va a subdividir en 4 fases antes de que todo esté disponible. ¿Ok? Quiere decir que es como es como que este parche contiene subparches dentro de la isla, ¿ok? Entonces hay que tener esto muy en consideración. No es que vayamos y ya todo esté desbloqueado. La raid ya está disponible en su totalidad, ¿ok? Ya, lo primero que nos dicen es que antes de que se nos olvide, la raid de Sunwell no estará disponible cuando el parche 2.4 esté disponible. Dice que va a estar bloqueado, o sea, la raid va a estar bloqueada, o locked es como decir, o sea, está encadenada, cerrada, no, o sea, está todavía no disponible. Dice que esto va a estar bloqueada antes de esta progresión. ¿Qué es Tiet? Ahí sí me agarraste. ¿Qué es Tiet? ¿Qué es pinche Tiet? Atado, ya, listo. Dice que va a estar atado directamente con el Battle of Sound Rage, que me imagino que va a ser como una especie de atune, como una especie de cadena de misiones o alguna especie de progresión. Puede ser la batalla del sol, ¿ok? Se va a dividir en 4 fases al parecer. Dice que... espérate, todo está cargando, ok. Es una serie de stage, ok. Ok, que va a tener mucho que ver con la isla de Keldanas. Las misiones diarias nos va a permitir terminar estos stage. Y cuando los completemos, NPCs van a aparecer. O sea, es como... prácticamente es un atune, ¿ok? Acá hay mucha información, chicos. Hay mucha información. No lo voy a estar leyendo ahorita porque es un montón. Pero creo que en resumidas cuentas podemos decir que esta es una especie de evento. Es un evento en el reino. Y que para poder desbloquear esta progresión, porque va a estar locked desde el inicio, estamos atados a hacer esto primero. Tal y como se viste en el PTR, todos los bosses están en fase de testeo. Y tiene sentido porque los jugadores necesitan ver cómo son cada bosses y también ver los bugs que hay antes. Entonces por ese lado, a ver, está todo clarificado. Pregunta, ¿subirán los elixires de agilidad para la salida de la expansión? Definitivamente. Para la salida del parche, dirás. Sí, para comprar ahora y vender cuando salga. Sí, pero todavía creo que tienes que esperar un poco más porque, o sea, los consumibles no han bajado. Entre SCTK y entre Black Temple hubo un tiempo en específico donde bajaron mucho de precio. Actualmente por ejemplo, los inyectores antes estaban como 60G. Miento, como 55 o 54. Y luego después de eso bajaron a 34. O sea, cayeron como 20 de oro, una locura. Ahora mismo los inyectores no solo no caen, sino que hay días donde sube a más de 70, más de 80, más de 90. Entonces parece que es un poco distinto. Hay que tener mucho cuidado con eso. Hola, aquí es donde va a haber repartir el bono de Yanapal. Fuera, wey. Yo quiero de eso mi líder de clase. Tuve que madrugar para que me explique todo y no estar buscando. No, pero o sea, todavía no está. Falta 8 minutos para que se revele la expansión. Falta 8 minutos todavía, chicos. Ya. sigamos leyendo esto. Acá, ajá. En el original TBC en el día 1, uno de los 3 encuentros estuvo disponible, el cual era Wall. Bueno, esto me imagino que es uno de las 4 fases, lo que significa que cada progresión de fase en la batalla de Sun's Rage, como digo, es un atune general y para desbloquear las fases tenemos que completar esto. Dice que se desbloquea cuando completemos una fase de estas 4 fases dentro del Sun's Rage Wood, se va a desbloquear un boss. Por lo tanto, no vamos a tener el contenido total desde el inicio de la raid de Sunwell, sino que vamos a tener que ir haciendo el Battle for Sun's Rage para ir desbloqueando bosses tras bosses. Ok, esto es muy interesante. Es como un atune, digamos, más serio, más grande. Para los demás reinos en el TBC, esto tomó meses antes de que las paredes se abrieran dentro de la instancia de la raid. Sin embargo, ahora mismo va a estar disponible para completar. Dice, si la raid completa esto o no, cuando ya. Quiere decir que esto sí o sí va a estar ya limpio. Ya, entiendo. Esto es para los que quieren hacer los primeros del mundo. Lo que nos dice esta frase es que si nosotros no llegamos a hacer todo el Battle of Sun's Rage, que nos va a desbloquear todos los demás bosses de Sunwell, si nosotros no lo logramos hacer porque somos bajitos, o porque somos nuevos jugadores, o porque nuestra guía es manca y no logramos hacer todo el contenido, cuando llegue la fase 5, esto se va a limpiar, se va a abrir completamente estas puertas para poder completarlas. O sea, vamos a tener esa ventaja, porque, como nos dijeron en el TBC original, tomó meses antes de que todas las puertas estuviesen abiertas. Bueno, todas las paredes estuviesen abiertas. Pero ahora, cuando lleguemos ya a la última fase del Battle for Sun's Rage, la batalla que... Espérate, para decirlo bien en español, que eso es... me hueveo. La batalla por el tramo del sol, no, por el alcance del sol, ¿qué es Rage? El alcance por la llegada... Bueno. Entonces, cuando llegue a la fase 5, sí o sí se va a abrir todo, ¿verdad? A ver qué me dice. Copa madrugando, Uta no tomaste ayer. Una de las mejores guías le tomó más de 100 whippes entre el trash y el primer boss con los ítems bis del PTR para poder tirarlo. O sea, está grosso. Cada vez que escucho la canción de Grizzly Hill se me pone la piel de gallina. La piel de Wiggle. Hola Enano, saludos desde Venezuela. ¿Qué tal, Frank? ¿Cómo estás? Y ahora vamos a ver esto. Pre-nerf y post-nerf de los encuentros de los bosses. Ya, va a haber un pre-nerf y un post-nerf de Sunwell. Ya, esto va a ser muy parecido al nerfeo que sufrió Serpent Strike Cavern, sobre todo con Lady Bash, en esos encuentros que tuvieron cambios drásticos y lo hicieron mucho más fácil. Definitivamente hubieron cambios que lo hicieron bastante jodidamente fácil. Entonces va a haber un pre-nerf y un post-nerf de estos bosses. O sea, está confirmado. O sea, está confirmado que va a haber un nerf. Un nerf de estos bosses. Eso es algo bueno de saber, ¿ok? Porque al ser tan difícil, me imagino que quieren meter esto para que la gente logre tumbarlo. O sea, los más grosos al inicio y los más bajitos al final. Definitivamente, la misma gente que ha estado aquí nos confirma que estos encuentros de los jefes son mucho más difíciles en comparación a todo lo demás en TBC. Si ustedes han visto esos videos donde te muestran, ¿no?, que top jefes más difíciles de todos y te ponen varios jefes de Sunwell, para ser más específicos el boss final. Kill Jaden creo que es el boss final. Parece que ya sabemos la razón. La razón es de que tiene una dificultad bastante elevada. Es lo más difícil que se ha visto hasta ahora en TBC. Y ya está comprobado, la gente ya ha puesto este post, ya se ha reafirmado todo esto. Y simplemente te están avisando que te compres tu cremita porque va a ser muy, muy jodido. Ya, claro. Ok, vamos a ver la vida de los bosses antes del pre-nerf. Antes que nada quiero ver si ya comenzó. No, todavía queda 2 minutos. No habrá nerf para SCTK y Jalibete. SCTK ya tienen nerf. O sea, ustedes han comenzado a jugar, chicos, con SC y TK ya nerfeado. Hay Jalibete, yo espero que esté todavía... o sea, que todavía haya un nerf. Espero. Pero Samuel ya parece que sí va a haber un post-nerf. O sea, un pre-nerf y un post-nerf. Buenos días, brother. ¿Qué tal, Esteban? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cuándo saldrá WOTLK? Me estoy guardando las ganas de jugar. Confirmadísimo este noviembre del 2022. Confirmadísimo. Ok, nos faltan como 3 minutos más o menos para que comience el directo. Así que vamos a ver esto rápidamente. Hablando del pre-nerf y post-nerf, los jugadores van a estar en la instancia y van a usar el ojo de águila, que nos va a dar un Mind Vision para targetear a los 2 primeros bosses. O sea, vamos a ver a los 2 primeros bosses y vamos a ver la vida de los bosses. Ellos están con las estadísticas del pre-nerf y tienen un pool de vida muchísimo más gordo y venoso que en el estado de post-nerf. Obviamente, no, cuando se nerfea, la vida baja. Brutalus tiene 10 millones. La verga, Brutalus tendrá de 10 millones a 6 millones. Claro, 10 millones sin el nerf y 6 millones con el nerf. O sea, acá pueden ver Brutalus, que está brutal. Por eso es Brutalus. Tiene 10.501.792. Prácticamente ya tienen vida de LK. O sea, 10 millones ya. Y Calegos tiene 2 millones. Ya 2 millones es todavía voz de TBC, pero parece que se han hueveado y han metido un voz de LK aquí. Pero bueno. Claro, tiene 10 millones para comenzar y luego va a ser nerfeado con 6 millones. Y es un cambio muy drástico. Este Calecos y Brutalus, la vida de estos en el PTR, ¿ok? Los bosses que se han visto... dice... Los tanques han tenido... Love to see if they had a buff for... Ya, esto me imagino que son para los logs. Ya. Hay un bufo que se llama la radiancia de la fuente del sol o Sunwell Radiance. Este bufo, los tanques han probado si es que es posible hacerlo sin esto o con esto. Ok, ellos han visto acerca de ellos han visto sus Warcraft logs para ver si cómo les va con este buff. La comunidad de tanques ha concluido que hay mucha más preferencia que se tenga esto en los bosses de Sunwell Plate. Ok, prácticamente te está diciendo, los tanques que ya lo han hecho se han puesto de acuerdo y han dicho, si no quieres que te partan la cabeza, si lo quieres hacer más fácil, si lo quieres hacer correctamente, tienes que usar este buff. Este buff dice: es un cálido resplandor de la fuente del sol que empodera al objetivo, aumentando su probabilidad de acertar un golpe en 5% y reduciendo la probabilidad de esquivar de los enemigos en un 20%. Este bufo, reduciendo la probabilidad de esquivar de los enemigos, me imagino que es también para tanquear. Esto me da mucha idea de cómo jugar. Un toque, quiero ver si ya comenzó. Parece que ya comenzó. O sea, ya comenzó, pero hay una cuenta regresiva de 10 minutos todavía. O sea que estamos todavía bastante de tiempo. Necesitamos a alguien que hable inglés fluido. Pueden sacar la raid de 25. No, la verdad que si yo supiese inglés fluido, las cosas serían distintas para mí. Y me imagino que también para todos. Por eso el inglés es súper importante, chicos. Ya. Yo tengo una teoría con esto. Dice: aumenta tu probabilidad de acertar un golpe en un 5%. Y reduce la probabilidad de esquivar de los enemigos en un 20%. ¿Esto en qué se traduce? 5% de hit y 20% de expertise. Correcto, eso se traduce en eso. ¿Qué te quiere decir eso? Es una forma indirecta de decirte tanque. Ponte papa. ponte papa y bájale un poco a tu hit y bájale un poco a tu expertise, bájale un poco a tu pericia y ponte más vida, más armadura, más estadística, ponte más grosso, porque gracias a este bufo vas a capear tu hit y tu expertise. Es una ayuda, es un bufo bastante fuerte, si es cierto, para los DPS, pero según lo que dice esto es que los tanques han concluido que es mucho más probable obtener esto. Definitivamente. Dice, desde la perspectiva, si es que llegamos a tener esto, los tanques están tanqueando donde sea de 2 o 4 veces para el daño brutal de Brutalus, comparado a Illidan o Archimon. Esto significa hay una gran diferencia de daño. Los tanques necesitarán tener gear especializados, sets especializados para asegurar la mitigación durante la pelea de los bosses. Ya. Ya, prácticamente los bosses te van a sacar la mierda y necesitamos tener gear especializado para aguantarlos, para tener mitigación. Y es por eso que te recomiendan tener el bufo del Radiance. Así los enemigos esquivan menos y nos concentramos en girearnos más, hacernos más tanque, o sea, el real tanque para esto. Ya, perfecto. O sea, más o menos ya estamos entendiendo qué es lo que nos recomienda. Qué ridículos. Claro, ya ves, acá nos está diciendo. Básicamente la comunidad de Blizzard nos dice que el gear de tanque, o la forma en la que tú tienes que escalar con tu gear de tanque, es que estos jugadores tienen que tener una ridícula cantidad de avoidance. Claro, ahora todo tiene sentido. Splenner, cuando recién salió todo esto por primera vez, él nos habla, ¿no? De que cada bicho en Sunwell tiene esto de acá de que nos pegan mucho. Es básicamente una banda de auxilio para los jugadores, para la comunidad, ¿no? Escribo eso. Y tenemos que escalar con un gear de tanque con cantidades ridículas de avoidance. O sea, prácticamente Brutalus nos va a sacar la fufurufu. Va a estar jodido. Golpean muy duro. Entonces vamos a necesitar misear o no recibir o sea, vamos a tener que esquivar mucho para no recibir un one shot. ¿Ok? Perfecto. Aunque creo que está mal traducido, porque acá nos dice que la hora de Radiance te da 20% de dodge, y acá nos habla de que el enemigo es el que falla. No, perdón, tú fallas menos. Me imagino que estará mal traducido. Vamos a verlo. Vamos a verlo en inglés. Siempre a veces cuando está traducido está mal. Bueno, cuando está en versión de prueba, sí, todavía está mal. Ok, incrementando en 5% de... ¿Ya ves? No. Y reduciendo la probabilidad de esquivar de los enemigos. Ya, no, parece que sí está bien traducido. Dice, nos da chance de pegar, incrementar en un 5%. Y la probabilidad de los enemigos de esquivar se reduce en 20%. Está bien, creo, entonces, tal y como lo he visto, tal y como lo he entendido. Los paladines protección han hecho este artículo. A ver. Todavía queda 4 minutos, chicos. No se desesperen todavía. Ah, mira. Perfecto. ¿Es una página de esto? Bueno. Pensé que era una página buena, pero parece que es publicidad. Parece que he sido troleado. Bueno, ya claro, de ahí solo son puros comentarios donde te dicen cositas. Ya. Ahora vamos a ver qué dicen, chicos. ¿Por qué no aprendí antes? XD, míralo en latino, porfa. Ese bufo lo tienen los bosses, es decir, afecta a los tanques en el prener. Ah, ese bufo lo tienen los bosses. Y revienta a los tanques. Ah, la verga, entonces sí va a estar bastante jodido. Ya, chicos, 3 minutos. 3 minutazos. Vamos a traducir al español, a ver. Ya. Espérate, nos dice que esto lo tienen los enemigos. Ah, claro, los jefes parecen tener esto. Sí. Ah, o sea, si esto lo tienen los enemigos, te va a reducir el 20% de probabilidad para que el tanque esquive. ¿Qué? No te creo. No te creo, o sea, ¿Esto será un nerf directo al druida? ¿Será un nerf directo al druida esto? ¿Ustedes qué opinan? Pon el video, ya se viene. A ver, ¿cuánto queda, chicos? Queda 1 minuto. Ok. Ya se viene el video. Deme un toque. Miren el buff en calecos. Ah, este es el buff. No creo. ¿O sí? No, porque el buff es este circulito de acá. Y ahora sí, vamos a ver el video. Un minuto. Y ahorita lo cambio. No se me exciten. Ya está, ahora déjenme cerrar el wowcito. Cerrar esto. La música, cerrarla. ¿Qué nos irán a decir? ¿Ustedes creen que hable sobre la 10.0? ¿Hable sobre LK? Ay, cachetudare. Ok, se muestra pequeños clips de todas las cinemáticas. Mira, ha ido desde el último hasta el inicio. Desde el último hasta el inicio ha ido. Ya. Ahora está mostrando lo último.
Hi everyone, I'm
Hola.
John Haidt,
Ay,
General
pero está en
Manager
otro
for
idioma.
Warcraft, and with me today are my friends Ian Hazacostas, who is the Game Director for World of Warcraft, and Holly Longdale, who leads up the production team for WoW Classic. I really appreciate
Que
you
son los
tuning
productores
in.
de
I know
Warcraft.
we're really excited to be able to give you updates on what's happening in World
Están
of
muy
Warcraft.
emocionados para darnos
But
las
first,
últimas
I want to
actualizaciones.
thank our community for all the feedback you've given us this year, and especially our community council. You've helped shape and influence.
Lo van a hacer con el objetivo de recibir el feedback y ver lo que quiere la comunidad.
I mean, really, for Shadowlands in particular, the story of the last 9 months or so of this expansion is all about the community, and it's shaped by what we've been
Todo lo que
hearing
han
from
hecho ha
them,
sido por y para la
and us
comunidad.
realizing as a team that we just collectively needed to do a better job of making sure the community felt heard, and so that led us to the changes we made in 915. But
Han tratado de
also
escuchar a la
really
comunidad y han hecho
re-examining some of
cambios
the
por
assumptions and
la comunidad.
foundations of World of Warcraft, about things like character investment and mains versus alts, or how catch-up should work, or the appropriate role of friction in our systems. And I think 915 represented a step in the direction of letting players have more freedom to play
Los
World of
sistemas de la
Warcraft the way they want to play it.
9.1.5 ha sido una
And we really
mejora
built
por lo
our
que la comunidad ha
Eternity's
estado
End
pidiendo.
content update from the ground up around those principles.
What are some of the things that the community said that influenced your decisions for Eternity's End?
Le está
Things
cuestionando
like
si la decisión de la
the
comunidad
method
ha
and pacing of
afectado
acquisition
bastante
of the Covenant
para mal.
legendary item, tons of tuning, and I think every step of the way, we were listening to make sure that we were carrying forward those lessons learned in the course of 915 into Eternity's End and beyond.
So,
Dice que
WoW
sí,
Classic
pero de igual
was
forma han ido
really
aprendiendo.
came about because of the community.
Yeah, they continue to help guide and
Ahora están
support
hablando de
us
WoW
as
Classic.
Classic evolves.
World of Warcraft has always been about the world and the players that inhabit it. And we are, in a lot of ways, curators and caretakers of that journey and of that experience. And so once this classic community formed and grew, we had to
Claro,
listen to them.
World of Warcraft
It's
es
this
pura
tide
comunidad,
of
son
listening to
jugadores,
the
es la
community
interacción
and
y eso lo ha
paying
logrado el
attention to what is
Classic.
a good experience for our players now.
Y eso ha logrado una buena experiencia a los jugadores.
A sea change in this idea is with our Season of Mastery round, which is a season of fresh start classic. And initially we were talking about it like it was going to be like a fresh start. Let's try this experiment in a season. It'll be about a year long. And then when the
Y
community
gracias a eso han
found
tenido
out
la
about
idea
it,
del
we
Season of
started
Mastery, que a mí
seeing this
personalmente no me
upswell.
gusta.
Yeah, the team just took that idea and ran with it and
Yes.
turned, what had started out
Están
as a
comentando
small
prácticamente,
new project
están dando un contexto.
into this Soul of Iron system that became a centerpiece of Season of Mastery and a whole new opt-in hardcore mode that we've seen communities built around.
Yeah.
Lots of, thrilling victory and painful defeat.
5 hours. I made it 5 hours.
Yeah, and it continues. Like Burning Crusade Classic, we wanted to balance the Paladin seals between Horde and Alliance, so we made an addition there.
Habla de
We
las
wouldn't
nuevas
have gotten
cositas
there
que han venido
without
con el
the
TBC
community's
Classic, como los
input.
paladines
So,
en la Horda
influenced the
y los
community,
chamanes en la
got
Alianza.
Another update and pretty significant controversial change for this.
Yeah, cross-faction play coming
Cross-faction.
in 925, which is on a public test run
En la
now
9.2.
as a big
Ian,
centerpiece.
cross-faction.
Yep.
Cross-faction.
Breaking with a 17-year tradition.
Yeah, it's something. It was not an easily made decision by any means, and I think
No ha sido una
it's
decisión
another one of those
fácil para
areas
ellos.
where really, we try to take to heart community feedback and requests and ask ourselves.
Ha habido
as
un
a team
feedback
if there's a
brutal, la
way
gente lo ha estado pidiendo
to
mucho.
accommodate such an earnestly held desire and still feel like we're being true to the roots of the game. I think players desire to play with their friends who might prefer a different faction, or to play with the faction
Cross-faction
they more closely
confirmado.
identify with, even though their raid group is elsewhere.
It's really important for me. I play a lot of alts, and I love absorbing the story for each race, and having that ability to play with all of my friends across factions. is
Claro, lo hacen más que
fantastic.
nada porque la
At the
gente
end of
quiere
the
jugar con
day,
sus amigos que están en
the
las otras
battle cry
facciones.
is for the Horde. It's not against the Alliance. It's not death to the Alliance. It's about pride in one's faction. And I think there's a way to preserve that and even
Ya,
strengthen that.
es por la
while
Horda,
giving players
no es
the
contra la
ability to make the
Alianza.
same choice
Ojo
we've
con
seen
eso.
the greatest heroes make time and time again.
I can't wait to do this. I'm seeing a lot of my friends that I never knew had a max level character in the other faction suddenly come out of the woodwork.
And
A veces
then,
tu amigo elige
with
la Alianza, tú eliges la
cross-faction
Horda,
groups, many of them are going to be
y ahora van a
diving
poder jugar
into
juntos.
something new that we're doing to kind of cap off Shadowlands, a Season 4. Kind of a remix, a bit of a greatest hits, revisiting all of our raid zones across the expansion, bringing in some familiar older favorites into the Mythic Plus rotation, And we recognize this is
Va a haber
kind
una
of
rotación
a closing chapter, a
también
little bit of a
para las
send-off
míticas.
to Shadowlands. As everyone gets ready for what happens next, what will come next, want to give a fun new challenge for everyone to sink their teeth into.
Claro,
Really
ahora,
cool
el meta de las
stuff
míticas
for-
va a cambiar.
for
Ahora con las
WoW
razas
players.
entre
I'm
Alianza
super
y Horda
excited
va a
about
haber un
the
nuevo
gear
meta.
upgrades that you're going to give me and the chance to go back and play some of those awesome raids.
There's a lot to explore. Very exciting.
For our next adventure in World of Warcraft, we're going to go back to Azeroth.
¡Uy!
We're going to a space
Se viene.
with high fantasy. I mean, our fans of Azeroth for a long time. This has been kind of the foundation of much of the lore of WoW. So, without further ado, let's watch the cinematic.
Vamos a ver una cinemática. ¿Qué pasará con Azeroth? ¡Ay, no puedo creerlo, cachazadores! No puedo creerlo. Estamos aprendiendo alemán. Es que no lo puedo cambiar porque solo está en un tipo de subtítulos nada más. Ah, sí.
We must go to its aid.
Sí lo puedo cambiar,
We
sí lo puedo
entrust
cambiar.
our ancestral home
No,
to
vamos a regresar a Azeroth. No puedo creerlo. O sea, sí podías cambiarle los subtítulos. Ahí está. Estamos aprendiendo alemán. Entonces en este canal hablamos alemán. Sí, ya lo cambié, no se pongan nerviosos.
slumber,
Dejad que la tierra duerma.
even from our own eyes. You will feel our return in the waking of the land. Then, you must light the beacon of Tearhold, lest the path home be lost to us.
¿Por qué hay humanos de piedra? O sea, esto definitivamente es la 10.0. Pero hay humanos de piedra. ¿Qué carajo está pasando aquí? ¿Super League de dragones confirmado? ¿Saldrá un dragón volando? Recordemos que los enanos fueron de piedra en su momento, así que no es nada fumado. Ok, es parecido a Ulduar, es parecido a esa temática de construcciones gigantes, criaturas enormes, dioses. Es muy parecido a esa temática. Viejo, esto es muy WTF porque... O sea, no está directamente relacionado con el lore, sino que te presentan algo más, algo nuevo. Si me dijeran que es otro videojuego, me lo creo. Esta es la competencia para WoW, me lo creo. Ya, dragones. Ya. Los leaks confirmadísimos. Parece que con eso la ciudad oculta ha revivido. El mundo está sanando.
But her fate is yet uncertain. Together, we shall be Azeroth's protectors once again. Here, the new age of dragons shall begin.
World of Warcraft Dragonflight. El vuelo del dragón. Ya.
Dragons!
Dragons.
This is so cool.
No one saw it coming.
No one saw it coming. Carefully kept secret. But seriously, I mean, what did we just see there?
The awakening of the Dragon Isles, the return of dragons, the dawn of a new age. Right, we've seen Rathian searching for his father's legacy, searching for the Dragon Isles. There's a reason why he hasn't been able to find them until now.
The beacon going off, is that summoning the dragons?
It is removing the concealment that had hidden the Dragon Isles from the world, but also beckoning the dragons back urgently in a time of need.
I assume pretty good variety of locales within the Dragon Isles.
Yes, the Dragon Isles, as kind of standard for WoW expansion, consist of 5 zones, 4 standard leveling zones, and a new
5
starter zone that
zonas,
we'll get to in
4
a
para subir de
second.
nivel.
Can you talk a little bit about how the team found ways to thread the dragon aspects throughout the environments?
The Dragon Isles are a place that is lush and primal, bursting with
Gráficamente
elemental
se ve
energy.
increíble.
As Azeroth herself reawakens, those primal forces are expressed throughout the environment, whether it's magma activity, volcanic activity, whether it's the icy wastes of the Azure Span. And each one of those has a connection to a dragonflight.
Ya,
that we've seen
prácticamente una
before.
nueva zona.
And it's going to be an amazing place for
Islas
players to
Dragón.
arrive at and explore.
All right,
Lo
now I'm
de
gonna
todos
ask-
los años.
okay,
Nueva
so-
Can
zona
I be a
dividida
dragon?
en
Let's
subzonas.
start getting into some features here and
Una
what
temática.
Dragonflight means for you as well as just a place.
Clásico.
So first off,
Clásico,
yes, we
nuevo
have an
continente.
all-new playable race.
Una
The
nueva raza
Directo
jugable.
race.
Yeah.
This is a
Ya.
second and draconic
Humanoides
race,
dragones,
but
los
dragons in
dracónidos.
Warcraft have the ability to take on a humanoid form.
What classes can they be?
They have unique abilities as literally a dragon. That
Dragones
doesn't
con habilidades
quite fit
únicas.
any of our existing classes. And so what we're doing is this is not just a new race, but it's also a new class. You know, adding a new race to World of Warcraft, and not just an allied race, is something that we don't do lightly.
O sea, es una
But
raza o
telling this
clase,
expansion
o
of the
ambas.
story so focused around dragons felt like the perfect time for it. So if you are a Drakthir, you will be the Evoker class.
Evocadores.
Drakthir can only be Evokers, Evokers can only be Drakthir. And the
Nueva
reason why
clase
only a
Evocador.
Drakthir could be an Evoker is that an Evoker is really combining the ability to call upon the magic of the different aspects with the unique physical gifts that a Drakthir has.
Ya.
The ability to actually take flight.
Mete
doing
una nueva
Nyxia
magia, la
style,
magia de los
taking deep
aspectos.
breath over the battlefield, land on the other side, knock everyone back with a wing buffet.
Claro,
and then
poder de
unleash
fuego,
your
poder de
magical
viento,
abilities.
Yes,
pero no desde
please.
la naturaleza, sino desde la,
The Evoker
desde la
has
magia.
2 specializations. They are a hybrid
Desde la
of
magia
either ranged
antigua.
DPS or healer. And they wear male
DPS
armor.
o
We figured,
sanador,
with
Maya.
the new hero classes we've added
Okay.
over the years, we have enough melee. We don't need more of those. And also probably don't need any more leather wearers.
Hay mucho
raid
cuero,
leaders are gonna
sí, hay
love
mucho
you.
DPS.
Exactly. This is definitely a hero class. And so that means that, you know, like the Death Knights before them or Demon Hunters, they will be starting level 58.
Comenzarán
and
al
they're gonna have a new
58.
starter zone. So they're going to have a slightly different journey into the
Ya.
Dragon Isles as opposed
O sea,
to the rest of us
evocador,
that are
clase
sailing there
nueva,
from other
y
parts of Azeroth.
dracónido, raza
Can you
nueva.
talk a little bit about the customizations? Like what is going to be able to identify my Drakthir character?
Basically anything and everything. You know, skin color, hair color, jewelry, tattoos, other adornments. You can make this character the expression of
Wow,
your
le metió una
identity
gran
in Azeroth.
variedad para
New
personalizar todo.
zone, new class,
Yep.
new race. Well, tell us about some of the system updates.
¿Y dónde están mis
and
nagas y mis
So,
centauros, por
of course,
favor,
a
y
new
mis murlocs?
expansion brings with it, you know, new systems, new features. I think in recent expansions, one of the things we've tended to do is really have these deep features that were closely tied to a specific expansion that would then get left behind as we moved on. And we've heard loud and clear from players that, it's kind of a bummer to start off every new expansion by leaving a large part of your character behind, by leaving a large part of your progression behind. So this time around,
digamos, un
what we're doing is
despertar
really
nuevo,
pouring
o
all
sea,
of
es
our
como
energy
que
into
un aire
permanent
fresco.
revamps, overhauls, and improvements to
No
World of
tiene nada de
Warcraft's core
epicidad,
systems. Things like
pero sí
our
tiene
progression
mucho de
systems.
novedad.
In this case, our talent system is something that
Los
we want to
talentos
completely revamp.
completamente
We want to
renovados.
take
Por
a
favor,
look
dime
at
que van a
our
volver a como
UI.
eran antes.
We want to take a look at professions.
Interfaz,
So with the
profesiones
talent
renovadas.
revamp and the arrival of Classic, did you learn anything about how our talents work?
I think seeing a new generation of players play with those talents and work through those talent trees really underscores
Ya,
some of the
árbol de
things
talento.
that, frankly, we lost when we shifted to the Mists of Pandaria style talents and beyond. A big piece of that was just the granularity, the feeling of getting a level and spending a point to customize your character, to make yourself
Claro,
a bit
ese era
better
el
in some
punto. O sea,
specific
subir
way.
el nivel, tienes un
But
puntito y tú
also,
eliges dónde
that
ponerlo.
sense of hybridity that you could have. That's something that we've
Ya,
largely lost.
hablan de
And
una
so the new talent
combinación.
system avoids directly pitting
Por fin,
player
concha su madre, no
power
puedo
through
creerlo,
choices
por fin,
directly
árbol de
against those
talento,
utility
¿verdad?
hybrid choices, because
Ay,
we
no
know
puedo
that there's always a
creerlo.
right outcome there. And we also understand that,
Y
there's a
está
lot of
más
strength
ramificado
in the
que
flexibility
nunca.
of the modern talent system to let players customize
Bien,
their talents
concha su
for a particular
madre, por
encounter or for dungeons
fin.
versus PvP.
Por
And we don't want to
fin,
lose
mi
any
rama
of
de
that.
talentos.
So John, UI?
Oh my God. Yes, I got this 30-inch monitor.
Viejo, llevo
trying
pidiendo
to
esto
keep
desde que
track
tengo uso de
of
razón.
where I am on the map, all my buffs, and over here, what's going on in
Es lo
chat.
que yo también
It has
digo.
literally made
En
my
una
eyes go
esquina,
like this.
exacto,
So,
tus ojos tienes que
You're
moverlos
not
para
alone in
diferentes
that. We've
lados.
made a lot of incremental changes and additions over the years.
Por eso
But
todos
really, this
usan
is
los
a
addons
revamp.
para
This is an
ponerlo en el
overhaul.
medio.
And so we're excited to really modernize the look and feel while staying true to the origins of World of Warcraft. Now, at the same time, we're not looking to take away the sort of power user customization there. Add-ons are still there.
Los
if you
add-ons,
want them,
los add-ons, ajá.
But we want a much better default out-of-the-box experience for all players, new and old alike.
And can
Por
I
favor,
reduce
haz una
elements,
buena
remove
UI.
elements, if I want to explore the world and see the beauty of
Ya.
Azeroth?
When it comes to specific elements, as much
Ya.
as possible, we want to let players choose what to show and what to hide.
No sé
so
si
that
eso es
they
lo
can
que va a
control it
ocurrir
themselves.
o ha sido un
mentioned
ejemplo de lo que ha
professions.
mostrado.
I have a critical question about this.
Parece que sí va a ser lo que va a ocurrir.
Kinda where
La vida va a estar
Yeah,
en
I
el
knew
medio y
it.
los poderes van a estar en el medio. Ese va a ser la UI general,
Our
parece.
approach to professions in Dragonflight is really all about delivering on fantasy and identity as a crafter. And so, if you want to be a serious blacksmith, if you want to be
Herrería
a great
seria
leatherworker, we want to deliver the ability to
o
invest
leatherworking serio.
time and energy into that.
Tiempo y
Become a
energía.
master crafter. Be
Para
able
ser
to
un
make
artesano
items
maestro,
that are in
ajá.
demand, interact with the community.
E
One of the
interactuar
big
con la
pieces that we
comunidad.
wanna do to support that
Van a
in the
volver a
work
la-
order system,
a las
to
raíces.
have a bit more convenience than just spamming trade chat all day. But if you are someone, you're not yourself a blacksmith, but you have a bunch of mats and you want them forged into a
Le va a
great
pedir al
sword,
herrero que lo haga.
you can put that work order up,
Puedes crear
list
un
your mats,
pedido
offer a commission,
y ofrecer una comisión,
and
que es
a
lo que ocurre en el
skilled
TCS
blacksmith can come
Classic.
along and make you the weapon of your dreams.
Estamos
I think
volviendo
that's
al,
one thing,
al clásico, ¿verdad?
Be a Dracthyr, go to Dragon Isles. Can I have a dragon?
What's the fantasy of dragons if not soaring over the lands? And so we're really excited to introduce a feature that we're calling Dragon
Montar en
Riding.
dragones.
It's dynamic with everything from momentum to dive bombs, the ability to just sort of build that speed up and feel the world rushing past you
Ya,
in a way that
mejorar el
should be much
sistema de
more
vuelo.
exciting than traditional flight that we've made available in the past, but that's also available for players through a customizable dragon mount right from the start.
So this is a skill you learn over time, right, to become an awesome dragon rider?
Yes, you'll be able to sort of upgrade aspects of your flight, but you will have this new form of flight from the start. And the Dragon Companion that you have is, of course, very thoroughly customizable, which is a new thing for us for mounts. This is not just a generic dragon that everyone has,
Ya, eso es
but
para
a
la
drake that
montura.
is yours. What do you want its scales to look like, horns, the shape of its head,
Podemos
other
personalizarlo.
attachments, armor pieces, and more. Take your pick.
O sea,
This is
volar
so cool.
va a ser más
So yes, the
personalizable.
Dragonflight expansion is going to
Y
see
tu montura
players
también va a ser más
leveling to
personalizable.
70, going to the
Nivel
all-new continent
70.
of the Dragon Isles,
Ok,
which
nuevo
consists
nivel,
of 5
nivel
zones,
70.
4 standard leveling zones, and a new starter zone for our Dracthyr class, as well as a range of systems revamps, such as a new talent
Talentos,
system,
que
an
están de puta
overhauled
madre, me
update to
encanta.
our UI, and an
Interfaz
entirely fresh
actualizada
look at professions
y una visión de
with
profesiones
more
que
depth
nunca
than
debió
ever
perder.
before.
Más profunda que
Also
nunca.
getting around
Espero
the
que sea
Dragon
más
Isles
profunda
is
que
going to come in
nunca.
the form of Dragon Riding, which lets you customize and upgrade your own mount so that you
Personalización
can
para
fly
los
in sense from the
dragones.
start. And of course, as
Desde
with
el
any new
inicio.
expansion, we have a new set of dungeons, a raid,
Nuevas
and
mazmorras,
much more to
bandas.
come.
We also have an alpha that will be starting up in the future.
Check out our website for more information and keep an eye out for those opt-in signups if you want to help us test out Dragonflight and give us even more feedback to make it better.
We do have a deep dive that follows this, so please
Uy.
stay around. Classic players, we haven't forgotten about you. You could probably guess where we're going to go next. One of the all-time favorite expansions for World of Warcraft. Let's watch the cinematic.
Vamos a ver una cinemática, chicos. ¡No, huevón! ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué me hacen esta? ¡No, huevón! ¡Mi corazón! ¡Mi corazón! No puedo creerlo. Viejo LK Classic. ¡Ay, LK Classic!
My son.
LK Classic, viejo. LK Classic, concha su madre. Yo sabía,
The
weón. Yo
very
sabía.
forests of Lordaeron whispered the name. Arthas.
¡Ah! Estoy convulsionando de la epicidad.
When my days have come to an end, you shall be king.
Las aventuras de Classic continúan, weón. 2022, lo sabíamos. Acá en el canal lo filtramos, concha de su madre, lo sabía. No, weón. ¿Por qué? Pero Warcraft
It's just
Classic.
incredible, isn't
Es
it?
increíble,
Every time
weón.
I see the cinematic,
A
I
mí
get
también estoy-
chills. No
Ah,
pun
estoy
intended,
temblando.
I get chills. As you saw, Wrath of the Lich King Classic is coming this year. It brings back
Confirmado,
so many
chicos.
memories.
No puedo
When you see that
creerlo.
cinematic, what do you remember from
Se
Wrath of the Lich
viene.
King?
Anytime you want to talk about undead frozen dragons,
De dragones
you
a no
not go back to
muertos.
Sindragosa as the source. That was the first expansion I played with my youngest son. So I can remember on that platform, black goo and chunks of ice falling off, and
Confirmadísimo,
having to
concha su
repeat
madre.
that battle with the Lich King. But when we finally downed him, it was such an incredible moment. He jumped up out of his room, and I jumped up out of my office. We're like, "Yeah!"
Confirmado, chicos.
So it's a very lasting tale for me.
So as you know, with this expansion, you will, in pre-patch, be able to play the Death Knight. They will start at level 55. You don't have to have a high-level character to make a Death Knight, so everyone will be able to make one.
We're excited to give players some time before Wrath officially launches to get geared up and ready to jump into Northrend with everybody
Antes te
else.
pedían como
And there
requisito
are
tener un
so
personaje
many
nivel alto para
zones and
crearte un
areas to
DK.
explore
Por cierto.
in Northrend, and I want us to talk about some of our favorites. So for me, Grizzly Hills
Las colinas
has a
Parras
very
son
special place
hermosas.
in my heart. The music was some of the best I've experienced in World of Warcraft.
I still make my way all the way up to Storm Peaks to try and find the time-lost Protodrake, and
El
I've yet to get
Protodraco.
it.
Y
I've
todavía
gotta
no
say
lo
Dragonflight.
consigue.
The wide open nature of the zone,
Cementerio de
Borman's temple in
Dragones.
the center of it.
Tiene una de las
It's an
mejores
unforgettable
historias y su
expansion
propia
for both the
cinemática.
developer and a player, and kind of making
Tiene
that
muy buena
transition
historia.
from one to the other.
Now let's talk about some changes. So one thing we looked at is Dungeon Finder, and it feels like how we envision Classic, Dungeon Finder is not a good fit for
El
our
Dungeon
community.
Finder.
That was kind of the first step that made
Por favor, que no lo- que lo pongan
bonito.
bonito.
Now, as people have gone
Que
through
no lo
the
arruinen.
experience of going back to vanilla, rebuilding those groups, relying on each other, not wanting necessarily a random participant just to show up and then leave.
Yep.
Por
Yeah,
favor,
that makes
no.
total sense.
But today, you can do that in Shadowlands. You'll be able to do that in Dragonflight. It's a self-selected group of people who specifically want that different experience.
Yes.
Let's make sure that's what we continue to give them.
That leads right into arena teams in Burning Crusade Classic. So we listened to the community and we removed that because individual rating is preferable and a better experience for them than arena teams. Also, with Wrath of the Lich King, Barbershop, which allows you to
Yeah.
customize your character. We're going to be adding a few more options that were not existing when Wrath launched.
Van a
but
poner
also
la
there's
barbería
another side
desde
of
el
this
inicio.
where we are not going to charge a real money fee. It was a paid character customization fee, right?
Yeah.
it seems the right thing to do that just be available in game for gold, and we add more options to it, right?
Ya.
It's sort of like spell batching in a sense. There's a lot of technical advancements, and it's not about the philosophy of what makes classic classic and what brings people together. It's just what's the better experience, and let's not artificially restrict something that we can provide a better version of just for the sake of nostalgia. And we're happy to say this is one of those cases.
So, Wrath, the level cap's being increased to level 80.
Ahora
we'll
vamos a
be
nivel
introducing
80.
a level 70 boost so that players who want to get in with their friends or just explore Northrend right away will be able to do that. You can't apply it to a Death Knight, but you will be able to use it otherwise. And of course, we have Inscription, a whole new profession. So we're really excited about that. Yeah, and as we continue this road to Wrath, we're going to be looking to getting a lot more feedback on beta, and we'll make changes as we need to.
Van a pedir
Such
mucho
an
feedback.
exciting
Está bien.
time to be playing World of Warcraft. We have the return of the Wrath of the Lich King for classic fans, and taking us somewhere new with Dragonflight. We're so excited to be able to bring these adventures to you. Don't forget, there's a deep dive on Dragonflight where you're going to get a lot more information. Thank you so much for spending this time with us, and we'll see you in Azeroth.
And we'll see you in Northrend.
And in the Dragon Isles.
No, parece que no van a ponerlo detrás, ¿no? Lastimosamente.
Hi there, welcome to the Dragonflight Deep Dive. I'm Steve Denuser.
And I'm Taryn Gregory. Starting it off here, we're going to talk about the setting and the story of Dragonflight.
We've got this great expansion, exciting pre-render trailer that everyone just watched. So let's talk about the setting for Dragonflight, the Dragon Isles.
Dragon Isles have been known for a long time in Warcraft history as a mysterious place where the dragons came from long ago, but we never knew much more than that.
We're going to this place that is kind of the broodlands of all the Dragonflights, the place where they nested, where they built their civilization.
Bueno, lo de
the Dragon
Dragon
Isles
King
was
no han
the
dicho
center of the
nada
Dragon's
nuevo
Kingdom when
realmente,
the
todo
world
ya lo
was young and the
sabíamos.
mortal races were just starting to
Todo
form
ya lo
kingdoms of
sabíamos
their
realmente.
own. But when the
Se
Legion
filtró aquí en
invaded
el canal.
for that
Bueno,
War of the
hice la
Ancients,
noticia de la
that
filtración,
sundering
mejor
that
dicho.
resulted from the explosion of the Well of Eternity broke the world.
Literal sundering
¿En
of
dónde va a
the
estar?
continents of Azeroth.
And because of the breaking of the world, that magic
parte van a
kind
estar
of
las Islas
drained
Dragón?
away and the land went dormant. So they had to leave the Dragon Isles behind. And as we saw in the pre-render, they left behind some Titan Watchers to look over the land. And when someday they hoped that elemental energy would resurge once again and draw the dragons home, reestablish their kingdom.
Ya,
And that's when the
es un
message
lore
goes out to the
que
flights
es
and they
parte de la
feel it in
historia, o
their
sea, es
bones.
parte de
Now
lo
it's
que ya
the
sabemos del
time
WoW.
for the sky to light up with the colors of the aspects once again, and for
Pero
Alex
no-
Straza and
no
the
hay-
others to
no
come
está
home.
nada
But the land has
ligado,
changed a lot.
creo
in all
yo,
these
todavía no se ha
thousands of
confirmado
years they've
nada,
been away,
pero no está
and
ligado
some
a lo
very
que ya hemos
old
visto
threats
antes.
have awakened as well.
Simplemente
We're looking into
un
the
vigía se
culture of
despertó,
dragons as they
activó
exist in
algo, los
Warcraft.
dragones regresaron,
Dragons as
nueva
we know them
expansión.
today were very different in the early
No se,
past,
no,
the
no se ha
early
mostrado
history of
más
Azeroth. They were
consecuencias
much more primitive, much
del
more savage.
War Retail de
What we
ahora
now
con la nueva
know as
expansión,
proto-dragons.
algún
And
tipo de
then some
hilo
of the
argumental
dragons
o
were
algo.
empowered to
Simplemente
become
tipo
the
despertó,
aspects. The
activó,
green
los dragones
flight, red
regresaron,
flight,
nueva
blue
expansión.
flight, bronze flight, black flight, each with unique powers, each with the ability to protect the world in different ways. These pillars of draconic power appointed to defend Azeroth from threats within and without.
Dragons used that power both for good, in the case of most of the aspects, but also for nefarious reasons in the case of the Black Dragonflight led by Neltharion, who would
A la
become
muerte.
Deathwing.
And what we will find in Dragonflight is that some of these ancient divisions
¿Regresará la
run
muerte?
deep. And so it begs the question, where do we
¿Regresará
go
la
from here?
muerte?
If this is an opportunity to reclaim their legacy, to be the
Lo que más me
protectors, as the
encanta
cinematic mentioned, that they once
de
were.
Dragonflight
To do that,
son los
they're going to need the
talentos.
help of our heroes, our players, to come to the
Regresar a la
Dragon Isles
a la
with them
ramificación
and
de los
face
talentos.
some of these
Y
reawakening
no solo una
challenges,
ramificación
because
simple,
it's not just that this
donde
land
se
is
bloquea
peacefully
aquí,
waiting
se
for the
desbloquea
dragons
aquí,
to
se
return and
desbloquea
reclaim
aquí.
it.
No,
There's
sino
those
que
old enemies
se
that have
ramifica
awakened
mucho
as well.
más,
Yeah.
como
One of those
un
being
real
a race
árbol.
of kind of
Se ramifica
elemental
mucho.
half
Eso sí me
giants,
pone
the
durísimo.
Jarden.
The
Las
Dragon Isles
profesiones,
isn't just populated by
las profesiones
dragons
también,
or just by the
que
Jarden.
tengan
There's
utilidad,
also many
que sean
other
como-
occupants here
como
in
en
the
el
Dragon Isles
Classic.
have been here either just recently or for a while.
Que realmente
including
necesites
a
algo de un herrero,
fan
realmente
favorite
necesites
coming
algo de un
back,
peletero.
the
Tú le des los
Tuskar.
materiales
That's
y
going to be
házmelo
awesome.
por
We've
favor
got
y te lo
other
haga.
cultures there as well in the Dragon Isles.
Y los
We're going to find
Tuskar.
out
¿Por qué no metió a los
about
Tuskar
a
todavía?
civilization of centaurs that predates
Centauros,
the
la
ones
raza
that
centauros.
arose
¿Por qué
on
no,
Kalimdor
¿por qué no
much
ponen la
later.
raza centauros
And some of our
jugable?
favorite characters that we've seen over the last few expansions, such as Rathian.
And whether he's ready to step up into a leadership role or if there are other alternatives out there that would be better suited to the job of being the aspect of the Black Dragonflight.
I think one thing the players are going to be really excited about this expansion is the new playable race.
La nueva
the
raza
Drakthir.
y la nueva clase.
right.
And this is something that Neltharion, before he was Deathwing, before he went full crazy world dragon, that he put into motion.
Neltharion saw those primalists that were kind of breaking away from the
A la
aspects of
muerte
what
antes
they
de ser
wanted.
malo.
And so, in those first experiments, he took the essence of dragons, their strength, their nobility, their wisdom, and he combined it with that scrappiness, that adaptability that the mortal races had. And he wanted to use that to create the ideal soldier in his mind, the Drakthir. Exploration is really one of the key themes of this expansion. We're going to be going to this ancient place
Los evocadores,
that
o
the
sea,
dragons
los
left
dragones,
behind long ago. So
los
we've made these
dracónidos solo van a ser
huge
evocadores.
zones with all kinds
Y
of
los, y
places
los
to
evocadores solo van a ser
delve into
dracónidos,
and
nadie más.
find treasures
Porque ser
and
evocador
little
implica
secrets
controlar la
tucked
magia de
away.
los
It's going to be a
aspectos.
lot of fun for
Y
players
la magia de
to
los
be
aspectos solo van a
exploring
ser los
these landscapes.
And
dragones
there's
humanoides.
so much architectural
Nadie más.
history and how clearly aspirational was the kingdom of the dragons and how it lost so much. And the themes of trying to return to that, to try to find your legacy, to try to figure out who you were before
La personalización de los dragones también va a ser algo
But there's questions, you know,
bastante
thematic
gozo.
questions of what does it mean to be true to your legacy? Are we going to repeat the mistakes of the past?
The dragons have had to learn those lessons just like the mortal kingdoms have had to. And I think that's one of the reasons why the dragons see this now as the time that they have to return and they have to step up once again as protectors of Azeroth.
Pero, okay,
We're
son
helping the
protectores,
dragons
pero ¿de
because
qué?
the dragons have
Son
helped us in the
protectores
past
de
too. So
qué
by
mal.
using the
¿Quién va a ser
Explorers
el
League and
villano?
the Reliquary together, that allows us to delve into some of that history.
And when I look, you know, upon the Dragon Isles and all of its visual splendor, I get so excited for the prospect of a truly Azerothian adventure alongside Calicos, along with Rathian, Ebonhorn, with Ysera's daughter Marithra, as each one of them is trying to find
¿Quién
their
podría
own
ser el
flight.
villano de esto?
I
¿Regresará
am
la negra?
taken by the
¿A la muerte?
exploration and the potential for adventure
¿Habrá algún
and
villano
just
más
new
poderoso?
horizons within this world.
¿Un
There's
villano
going to
cósmico?
be old stories from that time past, that history that only the dragons knew for the longest time. We're going to be able to explore that.
It really feels like just a breath of fresh air.
So now we're going to turn things over to some of our colleagues who will take you on that deep dive into the locations and the features of Dragonflight.
Hello, I'm Stephanie.
I'm Josh,
I'm Jackie.
And I'm Gary.
and we're part of the teams that are building the first two zones that you'll encounter in the Dragon Isles, the Waking
los
Shore and the
desarrolladores.
Anaran Plains. The
Van a
very
hablar sobre
first
las
zone
zonas.
in Dragonflight you're going to come to is the Waking Shores.
Waking Shores.
It's wild, untamed land. It's waking up around you too, and the elements are just going crazy.
Tiene
Our team again
una
has hit
imagen,
it out of the park.
una mezcla
You'll
de
see like a
cráter de un
lava
goro
mountain flowing in through the beach, giant proto-dragons swooping down,
Con
gobbling up members of your
Sholazar.
expedition.
We have such rife opportunities
Es una jungla
to show
prácticamente.
elementals rising up because of the crazy magic that's flying around.
The one of the things I love is just how you get to the Dragon Isles, right? So you're going to get on your boat in Stormwind or Orgrimmar, and the first thing you do is sail between like the dragon ruin architectures. The boats come right alongside each other. You can jump from one boat to the other and just start causing havoc on the other faction's boat.
For those who love PvP, this is a great opportunity for War Mode.
It's free for all out there. It's going to be great.
Modo de guerra
But
clásico.
it's okay. There's an innkeeper on the beach, so that if you're in that situation and you don't want to be
Hay
in
una
war mode
taberna en la
anymore, you can
playa
just
para los
hop
que no
out
quieren
right
hacer
there.
The
PvP.
Reliquary and the Explorers League are working together.
The Horde and Alliance are sending an expedition together. It's not
Si va a
the
haber
military,
cross-faction
it's not the soldiers.
confirmadísimo,
This is
van
the
a tener que trabajar
scientists, the
juntos.
settlers exploring this new land. So it's a lot more optimistic tone.
One of my favorite things about the Waking Shores is the Red Dragonflight, led by Queen Alexstrasza, the Lifebinder. They have the mandate of nurturing and protecting all life, which means Horde and Alliance, Gorloks, trolls, everybody. So they take that duty seriously. When the Horde and the Alliance come
sea,
to the
es un
Waking
lugar
Shores, they
sagrado.
want to be there to help guide the people through the new land.
No pueden
and welcome
destruir
them.
ese lugar.
But
Es un
they're
lugar.
not the only
Todos
one
los
in the
seres
Waking
vivos
Shores.
entienden eso.
We have the
Y
ancestral
no
home
van a
of the Black
destruir la zona.
Dragonflight there
Nadie
too,
va
which has
a
fallen
intentar
on tough
destruir la
times
zona.
since Deathwing's descent.
Desde
And
los
so Rathian's
trolls,
coming over to the
los
Isles
centauros,
with us.
hasta
And he's
los,
going to try and come to terms
hasta la
with the
Alianza y
state
la
of the
Horda, hasta
Dragonflight,
los
which is
propios
a few
dragones.
loyal Draconids and Dragon Spawn trying to hold their ground. What can the future of the Dragonflight be if it's just Rathian? Because it's not just the dragons that are coming back to the Dragon Isles, but also their longtime rival, the Jarden.
I love the Jardins so much. They're half giants that wield the
Semigigantes.
power of magma. And
Controlan el
when
poder
the
del
Waking
magma.
Shores and the Dragon Isles went to slumber, they also slumbered. They're back now, and they are ready to raise chaos.
Yeah, they're massive. They're riding
o sea,
giant
los
lava
enemigos son
mammoths
los
parading around,
semigigantes.
just stomping on your face.
And they were the enemies of the Dragonfly for so long. They fought against the Red Dragonfly, hunted dragons down.
Me imagino, por
and
ejemplo,
they're really taking
Grul
this opportunity
es
to
un
rise
gigante,
up. As the Red Dragonfly
y Grul es
have the mandate
matadragones, ya
of
sabemos.
nurturing life, they don't want to just
Entonces tiene
stomp
sentido
out
que los
the dragon
gigantes sean
completely,
los
but
enemigos
they
de
wanna
los
make sure
dragones.
that they
Tiene
don't
mucho
have the
sentido.
power to affect those around them negatively, to make sure they don't go on a rampage and destroy the ecosystem that has been created here.
And so those are awesome things in the Waking Shore. But Steph, there really is only one right answer for the best thing in Waking Shores, right?
What?
This is true. Ducks.
We finally
Patos.
have those webbed feet
Nueva raza
hooligans
confirmada
to our
jugable.
game. We cracked the
Patos.
technology. We
They
No,
can
es una
figure
broma,
it
es una
out, they
broma.
can fly.
You should be proud.
Thank you.
It's gonna be awesome.
The Onaran Plains come right after the Waking Shores.
O
It's so
Onaran
breathtaking at
Plains
first glance.
The Onaran Plains are
son
big,
llanuras,
wide
mientras que
open
lo uno era
plains.
más
And the player is
frondoso y
going to be
junglesco,
constricted a little bit,
esto es más
and then you see
llanura.
this big contrast
¿Ok?
of the zone. We don't always get that opportunity, that cinematic moment where the player
Son
can
como
have
las
a framed
colinas
view
pardas.
and they see this area.
Come out and you got that postcard shot
love
of the
that.
plains.
Llanuras, puras llanuras y un poco de montaña.
Fire proto dragon breathing fire.
Va a haber un
and
protodrago
a herd of
gigante de
centaur,
fuego.
Like, harpoon down the
Yeah.
proto dragon and crash into the ground. And the first thing you get to do is go help them kill the proto dragon. Like, how cool is that?
Who is Onara?
Onara
El regreso
is
de
the
Grul.
wild god of the wind. And she's
Me recuerda las zonas de
appeared before as,
WOTLK,
like
¿sí?
this big spirit eagle. She's the one who guided the centaur to the Dragon Isles many, many years ago. She blessed them, took their caravan across, and then showed them the plains.
How fun at the beginning of this expansion was exploring the culture of the centaur.
The centaur are these mighty, awesome hunters that, back when they first came to the Dragon Isles, they fought the green dragons all day long. Eventually, they realized that we're strong, you're strong.
Creo que
Maybe we
los
should
centauros
stop
han sido muy
decimating people.
desaprovechados.
We'll make peace, we'll make an agreement. You guys hang out in the groves, and the centaur will hang out in the plains. But now, the dragons have been gone for 10,000 years. And the centaur have come so far since then. And they've been here, and they've been existing and developing their culture.
Que los
They all
centauros
came
han
over as
desarrollado
one
su cultura,
clan,
porque no
led
son una
by the
raza
mighty
jugable.
Maruk and Tira.
Mira,
and
tienen hasta sus
they
propias
founded
estructuras.
a new life here. So if you want to
Han
get
crecido a lo largo de 10.000 años, se han debido de culturizar mucho más.
You are the first outsiders to come in generations upon generations. The centaur might rule the open plains, but the green dragons make their home in the groves. And those
Hay arboledas,
groves are
arboledas
absolutely
preciosas.
gorgeous.
And how great a job it is that we have where I can take all of this beautiful artwork and build these beautiful fantasy groves, high fantasy. We want to do lots of things with an open plain, and we want to be creative with that. But we're restraining ourselves by letting the zone sing, letting the horizon tell the story. We certainly couldn't have done that in the vanilla WoW.
No, definitely not. The zones are so big and you can see so far, especially in Onaran Plains. So we talked to the engineers and we actually increased that distance.
It spurs you on to want to adventure and look through the zone and explore everything.
The interesting thing for me is we have all these conflicts with the Dragonflights. There's missing dragons, there's battles, there's so much crazy stuff happening, but that's not really all we're doing. There's so much extra fun activities for people to do. And the greatest thing is that you need to figure out exactly what's going on and help solve all the problems that are just sprouting up everywhere.
Bueno,
We're
que
just
nos
really
habla un poco
excited to
más del
tell a
lore.
story that's grounded in Azeroth
De la
and
historia, de los
exploration. There's so
conflictos.
much more to talk about.
Algo que a todos nos puede
But now,
interesar en
we're gonna have
las
some
primeras
folks
2 horas de
talking
juego,
about
pero
the
luego
next
nos
two
va a
zones
llegar y vamos a
that
hacer las
players can
misiones rápido.
experience in
Vamos
the
a pasar
Dragon
clic, 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 quiero hacer las misiones, quiero subir a máximo nivel, clic, 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 clic. Espero que no sea así, pero así ha sido al menos en las últimas expansiones.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kate.
I'm Christy.
I'm Kate.
I'm Sean. We're going to talk today about Valdrassus and the Azure
Valdrassus.
Span. So Azure Span is going to be the third zone that
La
players
tercera
adventure
zona,
through,
Azure
and it's
Span.
one of our biggest zones that we've done in the Dragonflight, maybe even to date.
We knew it was going to be like the largest visual elevation change, and it really started with this
El
great
WoW
concept.
mejora
art.
visualmente
When we first
por cada
were
año
taking
que
a
pasa.
look at the design, we kept coming back to one of our favorite Wrath zones, which was Grizzly
Las
Hills.
colinas pardas.
And we really
es que
wanted to take
tiene
that,
mucho de
but
colinas
wowify
pardas,
it
las
more.
Islas Dragón.
And I don't know if you've ever been up to the Bay Area, But in the morning, that coastal fog comes in and dips down into the redwoods and that sun shines through. That's really what we wanted to encapsulate with this forest. And not only we have redwoods, but we've got all different types of trees. Eventually, it'll break open into this wide open tundra
Una
that's just
tundra
golden and
gigantesca de
red.
color
And
dorado y
you'll
rojo. Es
reach
una
up
bastante
to
grande.
another level of elevation where you get to see the snow. The majority of the zone is covered in snow and ice. We have giant frozen waterfalls, ice rivers as far as the eye can see. And Sean, I know in the forest, we can expect our first creatures.
We have a small group that lives there called
Los
the Gnolls.
Gnoll. Va a
These
ser la
gnolls
zona
are
de los
all throughout
Gnoll.
the forest and Azure Span. They've made this
Claro,
their
ellos viven
home.
en los bosques.
Some gnolls with strange
Pero son
magic
gnoll
that
más
we're gonna find
grosos.
out what exactly that's about. Snow gnolls, or
Gnoll
as I
de la
call them, the
nieve.
snolls, up in
Los
the winter area. And then
snolls,
regular gnolls that are just going to be
los
around
gnoll
the forest area.
normales.
So then we go into the big open tundra where we meet our
Los
second
colmillar,
group,
los
the Tuskar.
Tuskar.
It's going to be really
Es
neat
igual
to explore
a-
their culture a lot. And those kids are
a
adorable.
Rasga
I
Norte.
absolutely love the Tuskar.
También
Honestly,
tienen
all my
Tuskars.
downtime's probably just me hanging out with the Tuskar.
So it's been a little while since you've seen them.
Los
the Tuskar,
Tuskar,
the Wrath of the Lich King. They're also getting a nice, cool up-res for their models.
Se ve muy
along with
regular,
expanding
pero
their culture, so there are going to
cuando
be
nos hypeamos
male Tuskar,
demasiado
female
salen cosas
Tuskar,
malas. Cuando lo
Tuskar
vemos
kids.
ahí
So
salen
we're
cosas
gonna
buenas.
fight
Yo espero que salgan
alongside
cosas
them,
buenas.
which includes help from a certain group of dragons, the blue dragons. We're going to follow the story of
La historia de
Caligos, our
Calecos.
blue dragon buddy from the Kirin Tor, and he's going to be adventuring into Sindragos's archives. It's a giant zone. There's a lot of
¿Regresará
surprises.
Sindragosa?
When we're done there, we head over to Aldraz's.
Aldraz's. It's really
Aldrazos.
incredible because you
Creo
will
que
be
es la
going
última
through
zona.
some of the previous zones and seeing a lot of ruins.
Bueno, la
for
última de
the
las 4 del
dragon,
Leveo.
buildings. But when you
Porque la
get to
quinta son para
Aldraz's,
los
everything
dracónidos.
is perfectly intact. It's beautiful. It's pristine. It is
Ya,
the seat of power
se
for
ve
all 5
increíble.
Dragonflights and home of the dragons. It
Me
feels
recuerda a
that
Battle
way
for Acero.
with the huge vertical mountains. We've got these great cave
Es
systems where you may
montañoso,
end
hay
up finding
muchas
little dragon
cuevas.
hordes.
My
y una
favorite dragonflight right now is
flora
the Bronze.
mágica.
They've got a really cool area in Aldraz's, and their magic is time. There's so many cool story hooks that we could dig into there. There's so many cool gameplay options. And we have a little bit of an adventure for players. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
I can't wait. We really wanted it to feel like their old stomping grounds. One of the really cool features is going to be the main city and player hub for this expansion, Valdraken. It is a culmination of all of the dragon's efforts to put together what a city would look like. So we ended up having a bunch of really fun small vignettes where you see that the blue Dragonflight is hosting a public library, and the red and green Dragonflights both have their own separate gardens. We'll also have some convenience services for players, including an auction house in the city,
Claro.
which will be really nice if you're looking
Va a
for
ser
more
como
exotic wares.
como la zona
The
general.
thing that really sold me on Aldraz's was the initial concept art we got of Tierhold.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. And this is a 10,000-year-old Titan technological marvel. Tierhold has these awesome aqueducts that actually come out from
tiene un
the
aire a
structure all the way
antigüedad.
to the city across the valley. And in the cinematic, there's just this amazing shot where you see Alexstrasza swoop under one of them, and there's splashes of water cresting across her wings. So when players are flying around themselves, they get to have their Alexstrasza moment. What an incredible place and filled with so much history.
Tierhold was built by Tyr. He was a Titan Keeper back in the day who helped the Aspects fight Galakrond. And
Galakrond.
when they settled on the Dragon
¿Regresará
Isles, he
Galakrond?
built this facility.
El mayor enemigo de todos.
And even though Tyr's gone, the dragons have held him in reverence. But that was 10,000 years ago, and they've let the Titans maintain the place. An incredible amount of history has happened since then. Flights have been nearly wiped out. There have been invasions, betrayals. Aspects have died. And these are the kind of things that leave marks on a society. So now they're all back here, and they're all here together.
As we were designing the zone and the city itself, we're trying to figure out, how do
Básicamente
we
es una
tell those
zona,
stories
todos
at
los
the same time as
dragones
making
van de
sure
la
that this is a
manito.
really convenient place for players to go and
Es un lugar cómodo.
shopping, as they tend to do.
El lugar donde está la ciudad
So much adventuring
principal.
happening on the Dragon Isles.
It's so cool.
As a player, you probably don't have your own dragon wings. You are going to learn the art of dragon riding.
It's so vertical, and I'm just excited to dive off the tops of towers and swoop under things.
It's actually one of the things that we're about to learn
Viejo, te lo
about next.
plantean como la gran cosa, pero es simplemente volar con nueva animación.
Hi, I'm Jake.
I'm Andy.
I'm Kali.
And I'm Graham. And I'm really excited to talk to you guys today about the Dracthyr Evoker, our new race
La
and
nueva
class
raza y la
coming in
nueva clase. Por
Dragonflight.
fin
We're here to
algo
talk about not
épico.
only the evoker, but also dragon riding, which is our exciting expression
into the exploration of the Dragon Isles. We knew with a dragon-themed expansion, we wanted to let you play a dragon. Not a big dragon, Alexstrasza size. That'd be tough to fit into raids. I'm sorry, Jake. Okay. I know.
Fine.
But a draconic humanoid. So the Drakthir, created by Malfarion.
And like our other hero classes, you
Creados
get
por
to choose
Malfarion.
if you want to start
Okay.
on the Horde or Alliance side on character creation.
So let's talk a little bit about the Evoker, the class they can be. What's unique about
Bueno,
it is
el dragón
because
es
the
tanto para la Horda como para la
Drakthir are
Alianza.
created by an aspect, they have the ability to wield the magic of all 5 Dragonflights. So Evokers can take advantage of red magic and blue
Magia
magic
roja,
and
azul,
bronze
bronce.
And to show that, we created a visual, what we call a Prismatic Effect. This Prismatic Effect is basically the coalescence of all their energy as they channel it into whatever spell that they're going to cast. You have a red magic spell called
La
Fire,
roja
so when
es la
you
de
shoot it out
fuego.
of your mouth, it
Lanza
twirls
por la
in the
boca.
air with all 5 of the Dragonflight's magic as it turns into the red
Clásico.
spell before landing on your enemies and exploding and hopefully burning them. And
take that one.
La magia roja es la
Getting
magia
that
del
5
fuego.
across, that they use all 5 was really important to us. But we did want to make sure that each specialization focused on 2, because casting 5 different colors gets a bit messy.
Cinco
so
colores
their
diferentes,
damage
eso
dealer
es un lío.
specialization, their first of 2, Devastation, mostly focuses on red and
Roja
blue
y
magic.
azul.
Red being very
La de
fast and
DPS.
explosive, burning everything with pyre. Whereas blue is more focused and overwhelming. You can shoot a beam of energy out of your mouth
La
to disintegrate one single enemy in front of you.
there's a healer spec called Preservation.
Yeah.
The healer spec is going to focus mostly on your green and your bronze magic.
La de
so your green
sanación
is
es la
gonna
verde
be
y la
evocative
bronce.
of the Emerald Dream, your growth and your nurturing spells. And then you have your bronze magic, which is going to be more timey-wimey. So
Con
you
el
get
tiempo,
to heal a little
curaréis
faster.
heridas más
So in
rápido.
addition to the visuals and the animation,
Yeah.
which all make you feel very powerful, we really wanted the player to have a physical connection to the cast. We have a new type of spell called Empower, where when you actually hold down the button on your keyboard, it charges up the spell.
Ah, mira,
The
una
longer
nueva
you charge it
mecánica.
up, it might
Tienes
do
que
more damage
pulsarlo
or hit
más
more
tiempo
targets,
para
depending on the
cargarlo
spell.
más.
But it
Tienes
gives
que
you this
usarlo más
really
para que haga más
physical
daño, me
connection
imagino.
and control that's new for World of Warcraft, and I think is feeling really, really good.
We have some
Por
great
fin el meme de
animations,
presiona más
thank
el
you,
botón para
and
que haga
in
más
your
daño
tool.
será realidad.
You feel physical when you're casting your spells.
You can actually fly around the battlefield and cast while you're flying.
Raining fire and death from above. It's great.
In addition to the gameplay, though, another part of feeling draconic is looking like a dragon.
Well, we talk about dragons breathing fire, but you know what's actually fire?
What's actually
These
fire?
customizations.
Oh my goodness.
But no, they're really, really
They're
cool.
awesome.
Because you have both your draconic form
Personalizaciones
and your
chéveres.
humanoid form. And the customization options for both of them are amazing.
They're very good.
What about color? Just tell me you
tell
can
us about the
change the
colors.
color.
You can do a lot of matching. So your visage form can have scales that are the same color as your Drakthir form.
But my favorite, super favorite part of customization
Claro,
for
pero
the
solo hay
visage form,
rojo, azul, morado, bronce
Yeah.
y
because I
verde.
can actually do this in game.
Yeah.
The check is here.
We finally did it.
As players make their way through each of the areas of the Dragon Isles, they'll partner up with the Dragonflights to move through the air as they've never done before. You'll notice I did not say flying, because flight has a very specific meaning for World of Warcraft.
Yeah, it does.
And we're talking about something new called dragon riding.
And as
Pero ¿cuál es la
the players are
diferencia
honing
entre
their
volar
dragon riding
con tu,
skills, you're going to get to
con tu
see
dragón,
all new
con tu
animations
montura de
that go
dragón?
along
¿Cuál es la
with the different
diferencia?
look and feel of the drakes.
We're aiming to shake up movement with this new system, providing players with a deeper immersion with forces like momentum and gravity.
We knew that for Dragonflight, we were going to have the opportunity to show players a whole new set of Dragon Isle drakes, completely unique from all the other things they've seen in World of Warcraft. And so we wanted to come up with a movement system that would add
Es
that
volar
sense
con
of
otra
physics,
animación.
weight, and gravity.
Por
like
ahora
we were
no me están
mentioning.
diciendo lo
We knew
contrario.
it was going to take a huge team effort, not just animation, but it was going to take effects.
Volar con
It was
otra
going to
animación
take
y otro
the
efecto.
engineering team, who we rely on heavily, and that combined with some new animations really helps to lend that feeling of physics as you move through the air in ways that you haven't before. And the icing on the cake is going to be some really cool effects that we've added on top of all of that. So for example, when you start hitting, maximum velocity, you're going to see contrails coming off the edges of the wings. And then as you do your rolls and spirals, you build up more and more speed. There's going to be some screen effects on the display to indicate that you're reaching maximum
Esto va a
velocity, which
reemplazar
really adds to
volar
the
con tu
overall
propia
kind of
montura.
immersion and sense of reality.
O va a
As
ser
players
una,
make
una
their way through
skill
the Dragon
aparte.
Isles, they'll discover new cosmetic options to fine-tune their Dragon Isle Drake's appearances. Things like snoots, horns, tails, elusive Dragon Isle Drake armor, and more.
Can I have spikes?
Definitely.
Okay.
We want to provide players with all new skills to play with, as those who can use their momentum well can reach higher and higher heights. And
si fuera un
bring
vuelo
on
más real necesitaríamos
new,
de un
more
medidor de
difficult
velocidad para que el
challenges.
We
aterrizador
just
no
have
te haga
so many
pedazos.
new,
La velocidad
gorgeous
no es
options to
constante, ahí
choose
está la
from,
diferencia.
and I'm just so excited for all of them.
I'm excited for the whole thing. I mean, it's been a lot of fun to work on, but I can't wait to actually get in the game, play it with you guys.
I can't wait. I can't wait to fly around Dragon Isles. It's gonna be great.
Next up, you're going to hear about the talent revamp and the UI changes coming in Dragonflight.
Hello, my name is Brian.
I'm Crash.
I'm Jack.
And I'm Laura. We are very excited to share we are finally revamping the WoW HUD UI.
And it is
La
also
interfaz de
time
WoW
for a
hace
major
mucho tiempo
revamp
que
to
necesita
talents
cambio.
and specializations.
Talento,
I have a big question for the
especializaciones.
group. How long do you think it took for us to finally revamp the WoW HUD?
My guess is like 15 years.
Close.
Porque no han querido. No han querido. Si lo hubiesen hecho, o sea,
Technology has
cambiar la
changed a
interfaz no es
lot
tan
since we
difícil.
made the UI back in 2004.
No han querido
Now we
cambiarlo.
have, like, bigger
¿Cuánto tiempo les
monitors,
toma?
And us, we have
No
better
sé.
dev tools to work with.
Entre
So it makes
pensar
sense
y mover,
to have the revamp
más de una
right
semana
now.
no creo.
Also, if you
Más de
look at
3
the
días
game
no
today,
creo.
the art evolved beautifully over the years.
Más de 5 días no creo.
And if you look at the HUD, the
La
HUD
interfaz
looks
está
like frozen time.
muy para la
So
izquierda,
when we
muy para
approached
allá, muy
this,
para
we
abajo.
wanted to create a layout experience that players could customize,
Está
move
muy
things
dividido
around,
para
adjust it to fit their
todas las
needs.
direcciones.
Add-ons today, they do a lot for player customization.
Los
The downside
add-ons
is
ayudan a
that not everybody
customizar todo.
uses them. It's about time that everybody has the opportunity to use
Todos
them,
los
that they
jugadores
become
no
part of the
usan
base
los
UI.
add-ons.
Yeah, and we are working very closely with our user research team to make sure we are hitting the goals that our player needs.
It allowed us to add new functionality to improve accessibility in a lot of areas. And on top of that, we are going to be improving the art.
Yeah, so the art update, it's a big part of this project. The UI that we have today has a lot of charm and personality, and players have been using that for 18 years. So with that in mind, we want to respect the players who really like the current UI, but do a modern take to it, removing the clutter and giving more visibility for your gameplay.
Okay.
So the new minimap, it looks bigger, and
Yeah.
the health bar is also much bigger. If you
Yeah.
look at the action bars and the bottom menus, they have less health frames, and it can really open up
Ya,
your
está más
gameplay. So you don't have
minimalista,
a lot
da
of
más
UI in front of
espacio
you. And of course, we want to find
para ver
iconic
todo lo que
pieces
está
from the
delante de
current HUD,
nosotros.
but we want to bring it back in a nice way. So we for sure updating the griffins. They look so nice now. And the horde, don't worry, we got you. We're gonna have your version as well. So let's talk about the edit mode.
We are putting a mode in that will let players move various HUD elements around on the screen.
So I'm able to move the mini-map, say, from the right corner all the way over to the left corner. If I want to bring my action bars from the
Ya.
bottom and kind of put them more
Me
in the
gusta
center
mucho
by
eso.
my character, those are all things that I'll be able to do.
Me gusta
Absolutely.
mucho,
And
lo
each
puedes
of those
poner ahí
different
abajo y
components
tú
will have
ver
various
constantemente.
sets of options that you'll be able to work with. They'll be able to save it, edit it, copy it, name it. Also, it'll remember which spec you're in. So if you're someone who jumps around a lot, as you switch,
Lo puede
it will
guardar.
switch to whatever HUD layout you have
Por
for that
fin.
spec.
This
Van a
is
haber
an ongoing
perfiles
project. We're gonna keep
para todas las
working on
movidas que
it.
hagas.
So we really want to hear back from you.
A project that we're all excited about that we've been collaborating a lot on is something that's pretty UI intensive, and that's the talent system.
It hadn't changed in a long time, like you said before, and we really started with how can we have players have more choice over what their character has?
As you level up, we give you a new spell or a new ability, something that kind of makes you stronger, but it's determined by the designers. We decide the order.
Yeah, we started looking for a system that would give players a much wider set of options.
And after looking at all those things, what we really returned back to was the idea of trees. But it's actually 2 trees. We
Por
have
fin.
a class tree that offers
Árbol de
different class
clase.
utility, and then we have a spec tree that is focused on performing your role, whether that's damage, tank, or healing.
Can I just jump in and say that I personally am super excited about having trees come
Yo
back.
también estoy
There's a
encantado de
big
recuperar
nostalgia
los,
hit for
los
me.
árboles.
As we said, we have these 2
Es
trees
nostalgia
because we feel
y
like
es efectividad.
picking a specialization is a really important part of your World of Warcraft character now. And
Es
so
muy
we want
importante,
to
por
make sure that when you
supuesto.
choose that, it kind of affects the tree in some way.
Yeah, as soon as you open your talent tree, you'll see something new. The class side will have some abilities filled out for free, just kind of starting you off. in that spec you've chosen, but then you'll have your first point to spend in the class tree, which could be something related to that spec or role, or it could be something from elsewhere in the class.
There's
Tú puedes iniciar por donde
things that we
quieras.
can do here,
Claro.
and part of that is encouraging players to perhaps
Me
make
imagino que
combinations
uno
that they've
sea
never really been able
curar
to
más
see
fuerte
in
un
the game
objetivo,
before.
curar
This is an
con varios tics,
opportunity
más
to
para
put a lot
PvP,
more art and fantasy in
diferentes
the actual
selecciones.
talent UI itself.
You have seen that a lot through most recent expansions, but not at the base UI.
We want you to be able to tinker with it. You know, we want you to be able to make a lot of changes at a lot of times and not necessarily have to commit. The power really is coming back to the player. It's not something we want people to feel locked into, and so one of the things that we'll be preserving is the ability to change these talents.
Por fin van a
at the same kind of
cambiarlo.
frequency
no.
that you do now.
Leí combinar,
the
güey.
old school players, when you
Leí,
see trees
leí
this
combinar.
time, just
¿Se
think,
podrá
yeah,
combinar?
I'll go from my raid
¿Podrás
night to my
poner
arena match
mitad
and
talentos de
figure out
healer
what I
y
think
mitad
is the best
talentos
for
de
both of us.
DPS?
And that's a process we want to make really fluid. So
¿Se podrá
we're building
combinar?
a save load feature that lets you create your build, name it, save it, and then load it up very quickly and freely.
Talents were really
se
about
puede
the breadth
combinar,
of options. We've made
sería
all
lo
these
mejor.
different cool things over the years, but when are they
Porque
at
no
their
es que
coolest?
elegir,
It's
ok,
when
de
players
healer
can
y solo
hold
puedas
the building
poner los
blocks of
puntos de
what can
talentos
make
de
up
la
the
rama de
class, their
healer.
spec, and put them together in a way that works for them.
So these are really cool features that we've been working long and
O sea,
hard
si yo quiero
on.
ser mitad
We're very
healer y
excited
mitad
about
DPS
them, and
porque quiero
just an early
levear,
preview of the things
¿puedo
we've been
hacerlo?
doing. We can't wait to see the reaction that you have to them, and please reach out to us and let us know your thoughts on them. And next up, we're going to talk about professions in Dragonflight.
Profesiones. Ah, por fe, profesión. Ya, lo de la ramificación de talentos está bacán.
Hi,
Lo de
I'm
la
Joanna.
interfaz
And I'm
no es
Eric,
la gran
and we're
cosa,
gonna talk about
pero
our
se
plans
agradece.
for professions in
Y ahora vamos a ver las
Dragonflight.
profesiones.
Professions have been a staple of World of Warcraft forever, and they've seen lots of really cool incremental updates over their life. But for Dragonflight, we want to do something a bit different. We really want to rethink professions and figure out how to make them part of your identity as a player, if that's what you want.
We really want to make sure that professions feel fun and relevant across all levels of gameplay.
That brings us to our first update, something that we're calling crafting orders. If you want to have something crafted for you, but you don't have the skill or the right profession to do it for yourself, you can have it crafted through a crafting order.
Pedidos de
You can
artesanía.
basically browse any of the recipes that can be crafted, pick the one you want for yourself, and then you include some or all of the reagents needed for the recipe, including ones that only you can get your hands on. You can find someone in person to do it right in front of you for you. Or you can also go to an NPC and using an auction house-like interface, send the order out. If you're doing this,
ahora vas a
you can
poder
pick,
mandar
do you
los
want to send the
pedidos
order
de
to
crafteo
anyone
por
through the public
subasta.
order, or do you want to only send it to your guild, or to a specific other player? Maybe it's a friend who
O
knows
sea, en la
will be able
subasta
to
tú
craft
pones
the
tus
item really well for
materiales
you.
If you
y dices,
are
quiero que
really
me
dedicated
crafteen
to your
esto.
craft, you're going to be the best at what you do.
Entonces viene
One of the
alguien con la
coolest
receta y
things
te lo
about this
craftea
is the
en la
item you have
subasta.
crafted can also be soul-bound. In the past, you could only get your hands on crafted soul-bound items by having that profession
Sí,
yourself.
la
Now
única forma de
anyone can have
tenerlos
them
BOP.
crafted for them, which
Ahora
is really
cualquiera,
neat
o sea,
and really
no existen los BOP.
expands the number of items that we can
Solo
provide
los
that are really
BOE,
powerful,
no existen los BOP.
because everyone can have them crafted.
Cualquiera puede conseguir.
This is also really cool because it means as a crafter, you can start building your client base. People are going to come back to you to get certain items. Maybe you're the best at making it, or you always throw in a little something extra. You're also going to be
Si eres buen
leveling up your
vendedor,
profession. It's gonna
amable,
be really
buenos
great.
precios,
For the first time
tienes todas las
you go to
recetas,
craft,
tendrás
you're
tus
gonna notice a lot of
clientes,
different things,
definitivamente.
but probably the biggest is the introduction of quality, both to your crafted items and your gathered reagents. Quality works in a pretty simple way. If you craft something that's a higher quality, it's just going to be better.
Mhm.
For a piece of gear, that probably means a higher item level.
Tendrá
If
más
it's,
nivel,
for
las
instance, a potion,
pociones,
that might mean a more powerful
efecto
effect at a
más
higher
potente,
quality.
mientras
And
tu
we're doing a
profesión
lot of
más
new things in
avance,
the UI.
más
We
calidad
put a lot of work
tendrá
into
los
it to
productos
make sure
finales
that
que
the
hagas, como las
professions
pociones, por
feel
ejemplo,
really
o
special and
el
unique.
GR que
And another
hagas.
thing you might notice in the crafting UI that's new is the introduction of stats specifically to your professions, both crafting and gathering. And this is another sort of major input into quality. Probably the biggest source of your ability to craft items at a higher quality is through crafting specializations.
¿Vuelven las
We've had crafting
especializaciones?
specializations in the past, as far back as original World of Warcraft.
Así como
With
en-
Dragonflight,
Como en
you can go out
herrería,
and earn
espada más a
specialization points in a whole
hacha.
bunch of different ways. So maybe you find an old book on a bookshelf in a ruin somewhere, or a hermit in a cave who can teach you a little bit about your profession. So let's say you're a blacksmith. You might decide that first you want to become an armor smith.
Yeah.
And the more points you spend in armor smithing, the better you're going to get at crafting all armor.
This also means
Mejora de la
that
calidad.
if you specialize one way, other people in your guild may specialize in a completely different path. So this means that your guild could have several top blacksmiths and everybody's providing something unique and valuable.
Las especializaciones.
Which is really cool.
Ya,
So that reminds
está
me
muy de puta
of
madre.
another
Está
update.
muy de puta
We're
madre.
actually
Te lo
adding
compro.
crafting tables.
Diferentes
All the
especializaciones,
different
uno de
crafting
espadas,
professions. We're
uno
gonna take those, we're
de,
gonna put them all in
de
the main city of
armaduras.
Valdrakken, and you're gonna go in there and you're gonna get to see all the different players
Lo mismo con
crafting their
Taylor, ¿no?
items
Uno de
at their
fuego,
cool crafting
uno de
tables.
sombra y
Yeah,
uno
it
de
means you're
luz.
gonna walk into the
Ponte.
city and you're gonna see like all these alchemists huddled over here, and you're gonna see all these blacksmiths over by the fort.
Todos los herreros
There'll be
cerca de la
other players
forja.
filling orders or
Especialista en
grabbing orders. There's
armadura
gonna be a
de
whole new
placa
crafting
para
area that's gonna make
tanque.
you feel really
Y otro,
part of the
especialista en
world.
espadas para
It seems like a
DPS.
much more lively area than it has in the
Ah,
past.
casero,
What I'm most
casero,
excited
casero,
about, though,
casero.
is the gear. We're introducing new types of gear for every profession, and when you go to, say, mine a node, you're actually going to just switch into that gear. It's going
Ya,
to be
me
really great.
encanta.
You're not
Me
gonna have
gusta
to
que
carry
tenga
that stuff around in your
personalización con tu nuevo set de
It's
minería.
actually going to be dedicated slots for each of your pieces of gear. But I'm a numbers guy. I love progressing. All pieces of profession gear will have those special stats that we mentioned before on them. And as you get your hands on better versions of the gear, it's really going to help you get better at your profession.
I can't wait.
Thank you for tuning in to the Dragonflight Deep Dive.
Oh,
You've
ya,
heard a
las
lot
profesiones están de
about the
puta madre.
content
Me
and changes
encanta.
coming in Dragonflight, and we've got a lot more in store for you in the coming months.
Until then, we'll see you in Azeroth.
Está muy grosso, muy épico. Regresaron los árboles de talento. Todos hypeados por la expansión. Con esto más la cagó Blizzard. No, nadie está hypeado tanto por esta expansión porque no tiene realmente nada bueno. O sea, dragones, hombres de piedra.
¿Qué está sacando Pérez? Si saca verdes tenemos que ir a... ¡Uy, qué rico! El Pux...
Ya. Chicos. Ya. Chicos, este ha sido el directo de Blizzard. Ha estado bastante increíble. Hemos visto cosas de retail, cosas de Wrath of the Lich King. Y nada, espero que les haya gustado mucho. Y voy a estar haciendo videos acerca de todo esto y todo lo que hemos visto en el canal en los próximos días. Un saludo, gracias a todos por pasarse por acá. Se ha confirmado Wrath of the Lich King para noviembre, tal y como están en las filtraciones. Aquí en la Taberna del Enano lo dijimos primero. Y también hay cosas bastante grosas. Realmente con esto me acaban de llamar mucho la atención para jugar War Retail. Así que es algo que también voy a estar probando. Así que me despido. Un saludo, chicos. Gracias por estar acá en